going on, guys? This is Bruce Mattson, your host of the show, Metric Scout Fantasy Football, the show that talks about all things fantasy football, from redraft to dynasty, from DFS to Campus Canton, everything in between. If that's something you're interested in, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, tell your homies, and jump on board. The NFL draft's over. The dust has settled, and everyone's trying to pick up the pieces. I feel like I'm levitating over everybody who's just scrambling to make the right take on these players with consistency and with a little bit of normalcy. I've noticed the trend here right now with what I've seen on social media and online and stuff is people are fading talent, and they're valuing or overvaluing a situation, pumping up guys in the first round of the rookie drafts they shouldn't be. One guy who perceived took a hit due to where he landed to, but really didn't, was Rashod Bateman. One of the best wide receivers in this rookie class. This rookie class that really took some weird hits in the draft with some players falling or even falling completely out of the draft that we were expected to get drafted. Rashod Bateman has a profile of potential alpha wide receiver. He has the production metrics. He broke out at age 18, 25.94% market share, and then kept it going. 37.02% market share to offensive production at age 19, and then stepped it up and finished his career at age 20 with a 33.86% market share. And during that time, when you extrapolate his games, because we're extrapolating everybody else's games, we're extrapolating the Alabama guys, we're extrapolating Terrace Marshall because he played with Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. But we're not doing that for Rashod Bateman. In every game that he played in except for one, he had over a 30% market share. And a lot of those games was a lot higher. He hit 54% in one game. And then the game that he didn't hit the 30% threshold, he landed just 22%. The dude's a ball player. The dude's a stud. He had 3.45 yards per route run, 10.3 average after the target, and averaged 5.3 yards after the catch per reception. There's nothing this guy can't do. There was no red flags really in his profile going into his pro day. From watching the film, hardly anything's wrong with him. Good route runner, good ball skills, savvy at the catch point, can sell routes. There's nothing really he doesn't do well. And then when we got to the pro day, the only knock was that he weighed in 190 pounds and he wasn't this 210-pound wide receiver that we were expecting. It kind of took us back a bit, took me back a bit. I get it. But we were blessed come draft day because he still landed that first-round draft capital. That was the big question going into the draft. We did not know where he was going to go. We have Lance Zierlein ranking him like a 12th or 13th in the wide receiver rankings behind Nico Collins. We had other draft analysts from big media not pumping him up in the second or first round of the draft. So it was a conundrum. And I was nervous going into the draft. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know if he was going to fall to like round 3, 4, 5. I didn't know. But the Baltimore Ravens stepped up and took him in the first round, giving him that first round draft capital on top of this alpha wide receiver profile with him producing at a young age with good athletic metrics. The only thing is 190. That's not too bad. That's low. That's not good, but he's kind of like on that Stephon Diggs archetype. I don't like to use the comparison because it kind of throws people off. It's a trick bag for some folks. He's on that archetype. Savvy route runner, good speed, good ball skills, does everything right. Tad skinny. Just tad skinny. However, he mentioned during his playing days at Minnesota, he was more like the 195 range, 195 to 200 range, if that matters. If you can play, you can play. Same thing with Devonta Smith, but Devonta Smith's a different story when you're 168. And the worry about the landing spot is the passing volume in Baltimore and Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is a weird conundrum because everyone wants to go to bat for Lamar Jackson, but when it comes to a wide receiver going to Baltimore, everybody wants to run away. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You either don't like him or you do. You got to get off the fence. I like Lamar Jackson. I think he's got some upside. I think he does some good things well. And coming out of the draft, I thought he was a better passer than what he was projected to be by media. I think a lot of people's been buying these wolf tickets from the media being sold and thinking that he's not that great of a passer. I mean, he's not an elite level guy. He's not. But there is some things that has been preventing him or have been a clue to why. And one of it is he hasn't had a good wide receiver in his career. You're talking the last 2 years, his wide receivers, Marquise Brown, Mark Andrews, and Willie Snead. Those were his top dogs in the passing game. Marquise Brown isn't that great of a target. He's a deep threat, and that's about it. He didn't have a great year this year. I mean, he caught 58% of his passes, dropped 7 balls, dropping 12.07% of the passes thrown his way. So your main wide receiver target is dropping passes left and right. And then your check down advocate, your rookie, J.K. Dobbins, drops 4 balls. Mark Andrews drops 5. So these guys are dropping balls here. What I like about Lamar Jackson, the passing game, he was 7th in the league with 9.2 average depth of target per attempt. That's pretty solid. He was 7th. So he's chucking deep balls. I project Rashod Bateman, once he gets established, he's going to be main target hog in that offense. And we've known from his time at Minnesota that he can get downfield, he can run routes, he can get open, he can create separation. We have not seen Lamar Jackson with an alpha, with a good wide receiver. I could see Lamar Jackson just locking onto him and slinging rockets. Lamar Jackson's already slinging rockets. The big concern here is with the passing volume of the offense. But the funny thing about this is that the volumes are so low. They have a 45% neutral pass rate, and that's from 2019 and 2020 put together. In 2020, they had a 52% pass rate while trailing, which was lowest in the league, and a 42% pass rate while having a lead. So they're below average on all those categories in passing volume, but 45% neutral pass rate is so low that it has to come up eventually. It has to regress or have a positive regressing to the mean like that. On average, has to boost up sometime. May not be this year, could be next year or the year after, but it has to go up sooner than later. The Baltimore Ravens offense is not going to be able to live on that low of a pass rate. All I hear, and that's all you guys hear too, is this is a passing league. You hear that day in and day out, it's beaten to the ground. It's a passing league. It's a passing league. It's a passing league. What Baltimore's telling us through the draft, they drafted Devin Duvernay in the 3rd round last year. James Prochet, and this is, 6th, 7th round last year, his late round pick. And then they spent a 1st round pick on Rashod Bateman this year and another 3rd round pick on Tylan Wallace. They want to improve the pass game. They want to throw the ball. They're telling us what they want to do through the draft. They want to improve the passing game, which means if they want to improve the passing game, guess what they're going to have to do? Throw the ball more. 45% passing rate, that's going to increase. It's going to naturally increase. Rashod Bateman's a very good wide receiver prospect. He can win at all levels of the field. Lamar Jackson's going to love that. He's going to throw rockets his way, and we're going to see a match made in heaven. I guarantee you that. Think about this way. With a passing rate this low, Marquise Brown already saw about 100 targets last year. He didn't do much with them. He dropped 7 of them and caught 58% of the ball thrown his way. Imagine if those targets went to Rashod Bateman. Imagine with that volume, Rashod Bateman running routes, he's going to get more than 100 targets because he's that good of a player. There's a difference between a Marquise Brown and a Rashod Bateman. We have not seen Lamar Jackson with an alpha wide receiver. We have not seen him with a good wide receiver core. Thank God he has Mark Andrews to throw the ball to. Marquise Brown's a deep threat. He's an alright deep threat, but he's not a stud wide receiver. He's not. He might get overtaken by Tylan Wallace. Tylan Wallace is a good player. He's more diverse. He has more of a skill set. I'm telling you right now, Rashod Bateman is on a different stratosphere compared to any wide receiver that's been on the Ravens these last few years, or at least during Lamar Jackson's existence on the Ravens. Like, we cannot look at these current pass rate stats of the team and what they've currently been doing and just project that forever, especially when they're improving the passing game. They're telling us what they want to do. They drafted a running back and catch passes out of the backfield last year. They drafted 2 wide receivers last year and 2 wide receivers with high draft capital this year. They're letting us know they want to improve the passing game. They spent a first-round pick on Marquise Brown. It's just not working out. He's not giving them the ROI that they were hoping to get because obviously he's not worth that investment. Rashod Bateman's different. Rashod Bateman got collegiate production, age-adjusted production, the athletic metrics to compete. He's a savvy route runner. The tape checks out. Everything checks out with Rashod Bateman. Now we get to see how he marinates with Lamar Jackson, and I guarantee you that it's going to be better than expected. I guarantee you that these two are just going to lock arms together, frolic in the grass, and be best buds in the passing game. Lamar Jackson's never had this before. He's going to be looking Rashod Bateman's way early and often. Once Bateman gets established, once he starts becoming a key contributor, which is going to be soon. It could be this year. It could be late this year. It could be next year. But it's going to happen. He's not going to just kick rocks on the bench. He's not going to be running routes and not get targeted. He's going to be leading this team in targets. He's going to out-target Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews' stock took a hit. Marquise Brown's stock is dead. He's dead in fantasy. He's dead because he's not going to out-target Rashod Bateman. And Tylan Wallace has a chance to outplay Marquise Brown. That's real talk. Real talk. Tylan Wallace is a better wide receiver than Marquise Brown. It's not even a hot take. We've seen Tylan Wallace's career. We've seen him run routes. We've seen him be productive. He is a better player than Marquise Brown. If he did not tear his ACL and had stayed for his senior season, he would have been probably an easy second-round pick. And with that draft capital and with what he's done, even if you compare him with Marquise Brown with his first-round draft capital, Tylan Wallace is a better player. They stepped up that wide receiver core. They're going to be throwing a little bit more. I'm not saying they're going to be dropping bombs on defenses. I'm not saying that. But that 55% pass rate on neutral passing plays, that's going to start creeping up. It's going to creep up to 50%. There's going to be 52%. Then it's going to be 55%. Next thing you know, it's 2024, and it's even Stevens on the pass rate, run rate, baby, and Rashod Bateman's getting 1,300 receiving yards a year, double-digit touchdowns, and you're wondering, man, we should not have faded him in rookie drafts. And that's what's going to happen when you fade guys because they fall to a bad landing spot, because you're ignoring talent, you're ignoring a good player because you don't think about the way these situations change, how the league evolves. If there's positive and negative regression for players from year to year, guess what happens to teams? Same thing. Situations change. The cream will always rise to the top, and we all know Rashod Bateman got that cream. Thank you for watching the show, sticking along with me. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. Ring the bell. Tell your homies, and I'll catch you next time.